The link between Kerry and Kildare football is quite strong when you consider that the legendary Mick O'Dwyer was the manager of the Kildare team when they got to the All-Ireland final in 1998 when they lost to Galway. They beat Kerry in the semi-final that year when the late Toddy O'Shea was in charge of the kingdom. And of course today, Cian O'Neill from Moorfield in Kildare is part of the Kerry backroom team. So there is a strong link. David Coldrick, as you saw there, was the match referee. He was in charge of the 2007 and 2010 All-Ireland finals. The first quarter-final of the All-Ireland Football Championship 2015 is underway. Kildare won the toss, decided to play from the right to left. Kerry go into the attack straight from the beginning, and it's over the bar. Brilliant start by the All-Ireland champions, by James O'Donoghue.
Brilliant start by James O'Donoghue. That man is going to be a huge thorn in the Kildare defence all afternoon, and we will still see long ball go into that Kerry attack. It mightn't be high, it mightn't be diagonal, but it'll be low and it'll be fast into both Cooper and James O'Donoghue.
Long ball aimed at Emmett Bolton. Gathers. Quick into the middle. Nice overlap provided by Niall Kelly. Didn't really connect properly. Brendan Keeley gathers and goes long, very long. Down for Stephen O'Brien, who's already switched positions, which is normal. We'll give you more about that very shortly. First 50-50 ball, and Kildare almost win it. They concede a sideline over the far side, which Stephen O'Brien is going to deal with.
Yeah, and Kerry went on that attack there because Niall Kelly didn't put the ball dead, and the amount of balls that are going into keepers' hands are
going to be a free for Kildare.
Yeah, and that man there, Tommy Mullick, and the four guys in the middle of the park are going to dictate this game a lot, because in the absence of packed defences or blanket defences, it's midfield that has a huge dictation on the game.
Ona Flaherty, Paul Criven. Plenty of Kerry defenders to take charge of Eamon Callan, who feeds Niall Kelly, who's willing to take on the Kerry defence. Feeds back whereas Eamon Callahan. Nobody is immediately available except Emmett Bolton, but a good interception indeed by David Moore. Again, good defending on this occasion. Full credit to Owen Doyle.
Brilliant play by Owen Doyle, and that's where to play in front of your man all the time. Go for the ball, don't wait behind. Great play by Owen Doyle.
Tommy Mullick to Pádraig O'Neill. Coming from right half back, Kevin Murnahan. Cathal McNally gets his first touch and lays it off. Nobody immediately available for Kevin Murnahan. Pádraig O'Neill backfires Tommy Mullick, trying to get round Stephen O'Brien. Ona Flaherty. Good running by Kildare, and he's broken the challenge. He's eventually pulled down. Referee says play on. No foul, no infringement. David Moran again goes long. Brian Sheehan. Testing ball for right corner back here in Fitzpatrick. Solid in this championship journey, the two corner backs from the Lily Whites. This man, Kieran Fitzpatrick, and Ollie Lyons.
And doesn't Kieran Fitzpatrick do awful well, and that's the way to play, nice and low and aggressive. The lads were mentioned in the studio, they need to be really aggressive on the ball and aggressive going forward, and that situation Kieran Fitzpatrick certainly was.
Mick O'Grady going forward from that full-back position was pulled down by Brian Sheehan. Emmett Bolton wanted to take it quickly.
Mick O'Grady playing way out the field at the minute, named at full-back, but he's playing more like a midfielder.
Alan Smith did well, being double marked here. Back out for Emmett Bolton. There's nobody in around the square at the moment. Nice little dummy by Eamon Callahan, but the finish just a little bit off.
Yeah, and okay to shoot from there, that's all right, as long as the ball goes dead and they can set up defensively around the middle of the park. And the Gooch Cooper way down the pitch, James O'Donoghue nearly on his own up and full forward, and I'd expect the Gooch to ramble back in there and will be followed all the time by Mick O'Grady.
Brilliant catch in the middle of the field by David Moran. Mark O'Shea. There's Anthony Marr. goes about his business effortlessly. Killian Young lays it off for his Brian Sheehan. Going very long. The goalkeeper, Mark Donlan, is off his line. He has the assistance of Kevin Murnahan. Tori O'Neill lays it off quickly for his Emmett Bolton. Tommy Mullick. Murnahan calling for it. From the Moorfield Club. Owen Doyle. Tommy Mullick on his shoulder. Loses possession rather easily. Good work by Donncha Walsh.
These are the little times in the games where they see the step up in intensity, when you dwell on that ball and it's just robbed off you very quickly, not expecting something to happen, because Kerry will take it off you so fast, so quick, and will counter-attack so fast.
Jonathan Lyne from the Legion Club in Killarney. Killian Young to Mark O'Shea. Options in front of the Cusick. Paul Murphy from Radmore. What a season he had in his very first championship campaign last year. Good defensive play by Kildare. They really bottled up Donncha Walsh. Colin McNally was the player that came away with it. This is Emmett Bolton. To McNally again. Aiming for Alan Smith. Just seemed to slip at the wrong time.
Yeah, a little unfortunate for Alan Smith, but he's playing a lone player up there at the minute. I didn't think Kildare was set up as defensive as they have. They seem to come out attacking in the first few minutes, but when Kerry get on the attack or they delay the ball around the middle of the pitch, there are 12-13 Kildare players back behind it, and I've no doubt that is a strategy that they will employ for the next 10-15 minutes in order to stay in this game until half-time.
First to react again is Owen Doyle. Owen O'Flaherty trying to get by that initial challenge. Doyle is available. Here's Paul Cribben. What a game he had against Cork in the qualifier in Thurles. Back again for his own Doyle. Tommy Mullick. Emmett Bolton. Kildare retaining possession. Alan Smith is the only Kildare player inside the Kerry 20-metre line. Here comes the long ball. Just carrying a little bit too much. Keeley is under pressure. Still the goalkeeper, Alan Smith, doesn't foul. Referee says play on. Kerry come away with it. Number of hand passes so far in this game. Kerry 11, Kildare 15. 35. Sorry. I was looking at the graphic and the batch as the Kerry were going into the attack there, and that's over the bar. But a very much indeed a game dominated by hand passing, very little kicking so far, Tom.
Well, dominated by hand passing because both teams are tentative at the minute. They don't want to give the ball away at any cost whatsoever, and they're doing that quite well. Kildare are doing it quite well, but you see what Kerry can do when they just get that little flash of opportunity. They score from possession that Kildare needs twice as much possession to score from.
The lone man up front is Alan Smith. Kerry covering in sufficient numbers. Aidan O'Mahony laying it off as Kerry go forward with Jonathan Lyne. Ollie Lotz. Kildare fans being encouraged in the early stages after 8 minutes or thereabouts, almost 9 minutes of this first half.
Yeah, and I think encouraged because the Kildare defence seem to be on top at the moment.
Colin McNally, Tommy Mullick, Kieran Fitzpatrick from Kilcock gets by the challenge from Donncha Walsh. Good play by Niall Kelly, but there was a push in his back as he was getting there.
Yeah, great play by Niall Kelly, but a great ball as well. Some poor defensive play by Kerry, letting men just glide by them, not really stopping them up in the tackle, and an opportunity for Kildare here now to notch up a score and get something from the work that they have done so far in this game. But Niall Kelly and Alan Smith both making huge runs inside. You mightn't see it on screen, but they're darting over and back all the time. Alan Smith is a lone player up on the Kerry defence at the moment, and they are looking for him every time, often with difficulty finding him.
He's the top scorer for Kildare in the Championship 2015 with a goal and 21 points. Coming into this match. This one has gone to the left and wide.
Yeah, no Flaherty, he was never really on for that. He didn't look confident even kicking it. Any of those, you know, the coaching will always tell you, miss them on the far side of the post, if anything. Poor start for him, poor start for Kildare in terms of the scoreboard.
Still no score after 10 minutes for Kildare.
You know, and they're doing okay around the middle of the park, which we felt they would through Tommy Mullick and Paul Criven. They're attacking quite well. They're just not getting that last pass, because often both teams are playing with very deep sweepers. Kerry, Aidan O'Mahony sitting totally back, and Kevin Murnahan sitting totally back for Kildare.
Aidan O'Mahony trying to find Brian Sheehan. Gathering instead is Paul Ganey. Kevin Murnahan vacuums up. Down fires Tommy Mullick. Some more statistical information for you there. 39% possession of the first half for Kerry, 61 for Kildare. But they give it away here. As away goes Mark O'Shea. Deep into Kildare territory, looking at options available to him. There's a chance here. It's looking pretty good, and it's over the bar. Stephen O'Brien.
Yeah, it's a great score by Stephen O'Brien. We didn't need to wait on the umpires. He just kicked it and turned away. He knew it was straight over the bar, but that all came from a crossfield ball by Mick O'Grady, and they are the worst balls to give away. Your crossfield ball, you're in possession, your whole defensive caught out of position because they're all helping you, supporting you on the ball, and there was plenty of room inside for the Kerry attack. An easy point for Kerry, and Kildare still have to register score with all the work that they're doing.
Well, he's already making an impression, Stephen O'Brien, as Dave Holder gets some running repairs on that earpiece.
Yeah, and I think he was picked specifically to go on Emmett Bolton, because Emmett Bolton would be a guy who would have a huge engine and would have trouble most wing forwards going up and down the pitch, but Stephen O'Brien is absolutely suited to Emmett Bolton.
3 scoring chances for Kerry, 3 points, and they're back into the attack again. There's danger here. Paul Ganey putting this right over the black spot.
And this is the danger for Kildare, that they get overrun with football, not intensity. If it was the likes of Donegal or Tyrone or Armagh, you would fear for them in terms of intensity. But when they play a team like Kerry, who are so comfortable on the ball and make it look so easy, you're afraid for them that they get overrun with cuteness in football.
Just indeed, as I was saying there about scoring chances, 4 scoring chances for Kerry, 4 taken. Referee spotted an infringement.
That is the difference at the end of the day, Marty. It's your ability to take scores, is to make hay while the sun shines from the possession that you have. And they haven't, I would say, they haven't even had as much possession at Kildare, but still they're well ahead in this game and well in control now.
David Moore trying to get by Carl McNally. Just crossing the line slightly, McNally, giving the free away.
Very slightly. I think there was very little in that. There's been worse happening this afternoon, and let go.
Brian Sheehan coming across to take this free. Playing in his 58th championship match today for his county. And once upon a time, he was the minor goalkeeper for Kerry back in 2001 and 2002. Played his last year as a minor up in the forwards. He's been there ever since.
And this will certainly be an audacious effort, because it must be nearly 65 yards out from goal, out on the wing. But are we possibly watching the best free kicker in the game at the minute?
Well, not quite, I'd say 65. He's about 45, about 50, I'd say, roughly. Not that I'm a mathematician right now. Let's see what he does with this. And this one is falling to the left and wide.
Yeah, a little bit expectant on that one. I didn't think he was going to get, but what surprises me is that the rest of the Kerry team, not one of the players inside, made a move. In most situations you will see 2 or 3 players dart for a short ball to leave it back again, but in that situation they didn't.
It's Colm Cooper. Slipping a nice ball inside. Oh, he just lost control of it, Paul Ganey. He was straight through. Almost like in the Munster final replay, the vision again of Gooch.
Absolutely, he just turned. He knew he was there before he even turned. One look and he's able to kick it. And the one thing is, you're able to look number one, you're able to deliver the pass number two. The Gooch is able to do that. So there will be quick, low ball going in there. There will be goal opportunities.
Kick out from Mark Donlan. It's Anthony Marr. His midfield partner David Moran goes back to gather. Aidan O'Mahony. Over fires Paul Murphy. This is Shane Enright. Nice low ball for Donegal Walsh to gather. Aiming at Paul Ganey, but just carries a little bit too much pace. Ball is wide.
Yeah, the idea was right. He was trying to hit it in over the back of the defence because Ganey was running in there. He actually pointed with his hand when Walsh had the ball. A little bit speculative.
Not Mark Donlan's finest kick out so far.
And all that's happened here now, Marty, is they got no return from their first 10-12 minutes of possession, and the confidence is dipping a little bit, and it looks like the type of game where Kerry can just do enough to win. David Moran's ball into the middle, easily gathered. Colm Cooper, that is dropping and waiting to gather it is Mark Donlan with ease and no pressure. Owen Doyle. Farazali Lyons. Kieran Fitzpatrick. Kevin Murnahan. And they need to find that level of intensity and rhythm. Go forward from deep defensive role in waves, if at all possible, and support. That's what they were doing against Cork, where every player in possession had a support player on his left or right shoulder. That's what needs to happen. Owen O'Flaherty, Cathal McNally, Niall Kelly available. Dropping this in and dropping it inside the post. When leadership is required, when class is needed, up steps to the table. Yes,
Niall Kelly.
Yes, up steps more class, and he was the only player who was going to do that because the rest of them were sharing around this responsibility of it. And you're absolutely right, Marty. The intensity in Kildare's game was just totally gone from 10-0 in the space of 2 minutes. There was nothing happening around the middle of the park. There was nobody coming off the shoulder, and the game was quite pedestrian.
17 minutes gone before Kildare get their first score. They started brightly but didn't really capitalise it. Now Kerry seem to have that control. Here's Colm Cooper coming in to challenge. It's Pádraig O'Neill. Referee has blown his whistle, given a free.
Well, I'd like to see that one again, Marty. I thought he'd put a hand on the ball. Yeah, I know there's a split decision, and here it comes. He throws the dummy. There's a touch. There's a harmless touch on that, really and truly. And just as he was kicking it, no, I don't think there's a foul there. Lucky free for Kerry. And you'll always know by the crowd as well. They're not happy either.
James O'Donoghue taking the fray and curling it inside that far over post.
It's always the same. It's the team that needs those breaks are usually the underdogs, but the team that usually gets them are the favourites.
Kieran Fitzpatrick getting the short kick out from Mark Donlan on his own 65-metre line. Tommy Bullock overfires Owen Doyle into Kerry territory. Needs a little bit of support. Paul Cribben is there. So too is Paul McNally. There's a little bit of space after opening. Backfires Paul Cribben again. Taking a shot which is dropping. Easily got it by Brendan Keeling.
Yeah, McNally actually had a better chance of shooting when he got inside first time. If it was Kerry, that ball would have been over the bar. They need to have a goal, Kildare, or the game will slip away.
Paul Murphy. Gainey to Colin Cooper. Trying to get one in for us. James O'Donoghue. Brian Sheehan is there as well. Good defending, Ollie Lawrence. Excellent play by the corner back from Selbridge.
Yeah, with a little bit of luck, Marty, there's a goal coming here for Kerry. I can feel it, and it's happening, and it's only a matter of time.
Paul McNally. Can Kildare get some possession here in front of goal and maybe create more scoring opportunities? Alan Smith putting it onto his left boot, and that's a really good score.
That's more like it from Kildare. That's more like it from Alan Smith. He's had a few opportunities. That's the first one he's executed, but has done so very well. They really need to have a go. Now is the time. They can't go in here at half-time 5, 6, 7 points behind. They need to be within 1 or 2 points and push on, and the intensity levels need to rise. The efforts needs to rise. And great rob there by Ollie Lyons. What a great rob. That's the way to play it.
Torrey Gonea. There's the time to look. Alan Smith wants it diagonally, goes short for Tommy Mulick. Here's Niall Kelly. Kelly onto his right boot and straight between the posts. Well, it's wake-up time for Kildare. It took them 17 minutes to get their first, and by the 20th minute, they have 3.
Yeah, and through Kelly, 2 of them. I mean, some brilliant play by him, and he's going to have to be marked awful tight by Killian Young, who should be picking him up, but is quite a distance from him. Sometimes he can stay a little bit away from a player because you know he's not going to kick, but he is able to kick from a standing position.
Brendan Keeley goes for distance. Great catch once again. In the middle of the field, this time by Anthony Marr. Brian Sheehan. Good defending again. Attacking the ball at every opportunity. Acting as a wing-back was Carl McNally. Playing deep defensive. Far as Torrey Gonea. Into the path of Niall Kelly, who's posing problems for Kerry. Ona Fargo gets by the initial challenge. This is much better out of Kildare. Alan Smith on the turn. Can he score? It's across the face of the goal and wide.
Yeah, and he was right to have a goal, Marty. You know, you might look and say it's a bad wide, but as long as they keep the ball dead, kick it dead, keep the ball down here, contest for it in the middle of the park, get in around the breaks, and when you see the dropping ball in the middle of the park, you'll have a good idea who wants it with the amount of players around the ball. The whole idea is, as that ball is dropping, is to leave your marker and get in underneath it.
Keeley again goes for the middle of the park, particularly when you're Anthony Marr and David Moore in there, and they're winning those long kickouts as well. We've seen very little of Paul Cribben so far. He was such a dominant figure in the match against Cork. Well won here. Here is indeed the aforementioned Paul Cribben. Ball was well won by Mick O'Grady initially. Trying to chase after this was Niall Kelly. Good defending by Paul Murphy. Donica Walsh. Skipping away from the challenge is Stephen O'Brien, who's performing quite well in this quarter-final, and he's now got his 3rd point of the match.
And really what a score it is. But he took the ball in front, turned around his man just there like that. Man really should have stood up, had one look. Kildare have had a few opportunities like that, but haven't had the confidence to do so. That's not a problem for Kerry.
Kildare possibly should be going more for those short kickouts because they retain possession. With the long kickouts, Anthony Marr and David Moore are doing well. Here's Colin Cooper. He's given a little bit of space by Mick O'Grady, and it's over the bar.
No, that's his first, and he doesn't need a whole lot of space. But you're absolutely right, Marty. The middle of the park is a major problem for Kerry at the minute. David Moore winning most of the clean possession out there. The only time that Kildare can get on the ball is when it's breaking in the middle of the park, and Paul Cribben, Tommy Mulick, okay from play, but not from kickouts.
Surprise omission, Kieran Donaghy. News that we just received around 1:30 this afternoon. Colin Gooch Cooper taking his place. Here's Eamon Callaghan. Picked up a shoulder injury against Cork and Thurles last weekend, fully recovered. Nice combination play here by Kildare. Alan Smith has to be taking too much out of it. Comes over first, Carl McNally. And that ball is wide.
Yeah, there was one more pass in that. He had to turn onto his left foot. I think he'd like to kick it with his right. Had one more pass outside him again. There was an opportunity to give it out to McNally. or by McNally, an opportunity to give it out to Eamon O'Callaghan, didn't do so. And there are the opportunities, and just when Kildare, you felt they were getting into the game, getting a foothold in the game, had kicked 3 great scores, Kerry go up and score another 2 or 3. They just always be able to produce a cushion for themselves.
Of course, live in the Sunday game, we have another quarter-final coming your way at 4 o'clock. It's Dublin against Fermanagh. Should be an interesting contest. See how Fermanagh cope with the might of Dublin. Meanwhile, they're having their hands full with the All-Ireland champions. James O'Donoghue cutting inside, getting the room to swing. The left leg hits the ball straight over the bar.
Yeah, and it's all coming from the running inside. I know that the ducking and the diving to twist around man. And watch the way he holds off his man when he kicks with the left foot. And to have that balance and that awareness, that's a great quality to have. But in fairness to Kildare, they're sticking as close as possible to the markers, but very difficult.
Look at the bench, some of the stars, substitutes, Darren O'Sullivan and Paul Galvin. Eager and anxious to get a chance. Long kick out again is not working for Kildare because David Bourne and Anthony Marr have come to grips with Tommy Mullick and Paul Cribben, and that is a crucial problem, serious problem for the Lily Whites. The ball comes across to Stephen O'Brien, and that is over the bar. The young lad from South Kerry from Kenmare is playing really well.
And I think that Kerry would have been happy for Emmett Bolton to be kept under lock and key for the afternoon, but he's certainly having a torrid time on Stephen O'Brien. Has kicked 4 from play and seems to be so loose on him. It appears that there's nobody picking him up.
Loose breaking ball ultimately comes for us Niall Kelly. Had the vision to see that Paul McNally got into a little bit of space. Nice ball inside. Where's Pádraig O'Neill? What can he do? He can chip it, but it hits off the post. And Kildare need everything like that to go their way.
They need absolutely everything, not making it happen at the minute. They just got within touch of Kerry, and then just Kerry kicked 3 or 4 points.
Jonathan Lai into space for Donegal Walsh. Paul Cribben comes away with it, uses Ono Flaherty. Eamon Callaghan, just one man up for Kildare, and there are 3 Kerry defenders back there. Perhaps change of plan needed there as well, Tom.
Well, I think they need to put another man in there. One up there on his own is not enough. They need 1 or 2 targets. If you look at the Kerry attack, they have O'Donoghue and Cooper inside and Geaney inside, so they always have 3 runners off a ball, and that gives them loads of options.
Brian Sheehan combining with Killian Young. James O'Donoghue gathers, heads towards goal. There's a chance here. Oh, Donlan did well. The goalkeeper. Excellent save. James O'Donoghue's gone down injured. No free given. Referee was right beside it, David Culver. Didn't react. And Kildare go forward.
No, and I don't think there was a penalty there whatsoever. Good decision by Goldrick, and James O'Donoghue didn't look for one either, but that goal we talked about was certainly there for Kerry.
Paul Cribben counter-attacks. Gives it for his Niall Kelly. Hovering in around the house is one Kildare man. This time it's Eamon Callaghan. Pass intercepted. Kildare playing it just a little bit too tight. They now counter-attack with Brian Sheehan. James O'Donoghue is injured in the large rectangle. Sheehan still going forward. Donegal Walsh thought he'd get it. Colm Cooper does, and he floats it in and he floats it wide.
Yeah, poor wide by Colm Cooper. Hasn't been very obvious in the game so far. Has had 1 or 2 missed catches, has 1 or 2 wild shots, but his genius is still present at all times.
Brilliant save by Mark Donlan. Look at this again, Tom.
Yeah, great bit of bravery by Donlan. I mean, he gets down, and Donoghue nearly gets away with the ball. And the reason the ref didn't give the free there is because he made contact with the ball, which he's entitled to do.
James O'Donoghue still getting some medical attention because, of course, he's had a shoulder problem in the past.
And you have to congratulate Goldrick for that, because on so many occasions a referee sees a man going into the box and going down as the keeper comes out, and his initial thing, his reaction is just to blow the whistle for a penalty. But great save, great decision, and fair.
Full marks to Mark Donlan. Eamon Fitzmaurice, he's a little bit concerned about one of his star players, as James O'Donoghue broke the shackles of the defence. Keeper did so well, but you can see James suffered a little bit in the falling to the ground. He's picked up an injury, but he looks all right. It looks like he's gone back in again.
Yeah, I don't think it's too much, and he will get in for a score. He will get in for a goal at some stage. He's been threatening all afternoon, and he has only one thing on his mind when he gets that ball, is to twist and turn and get away in front of his man. But just so far, Marty, it just looks like the pattern is that Kildare came out not to lose the game and to be in it after a while, but they're just not committing enough to the attack. They don't have enough targets inside when they get the ball around the middle of the park, and they're not running off the shoulder quick enough to penetrate the Kerry defence either. James
O'Donoghue, meanwhile, is coming off the pitch off camera. Coming on is going to be Barry John Keane. Meanwhile, it's Paul Cribben laying it back for his Emmett Bolton. Kevin Moynihan up for his Kieran Fitzpatrick. Once again, Stephen O'Brien, he's scored 4 times, but then you see him in a different role, backtracking, making sure that the Kildare man doesn't gain any substantial ground. Confirmation of that change now happening. Barry John Keane is coming on for James O'Donoghue. Now the change should happen officially.
And just coming off the pitch, James O'Donoghue seemed to be holding an elbow or a shoulder as he went down on it, and hopefully for him he hasn't done too much damage, but unlikely to see him come off. But as you mentioned earlier on there, Marty, you just look on the bench and they can easily replace him.
And here indeed is Barry John Keane, out to make an impression. Feeds Colm Cooper. Anthony Marr floating this one in, and it's gone to the right and wide. Just in terms of wides, by the way, Kerry have now registered 5 wides. Kildare the same amount.
And you would feel that Anthony Marr probably wouldn't have had a go at that if it was in a tighter game, but they've got themselves into a position where they can do that now and again and have a go.
Carl McNally. Kildare just playing with that one man up front, remember? Playing quite defensive. Paul Cribben. Some more statistical information for you. Last score for Kildare is heading towards 12 minutes now at this stage. Ball is aimed at Paul Ganey, trying to get inside the cover of Kieran Fitzpatrick. Succeeds in doing so and raises another white flag.
And again, Marty, where did that come from? It came from Paul Cribben, who had the ball in plenty of space around the middle of the park, ended up getting swallowed up by 2 Kerry players. Why? It happened because he's no options inside. There's nobody running off his shoulders, too ponderous on the ball and having to wait too long. Kerry will kill you in situations like that. You've got to move the ball. They've got to put more people in attack, more people supporting, and more people on the full forward line.
Tommy Mullick knocked it down for Eamon Callaghan. Emmett Bolton over for his Porrig O'Neill, and you notice that Porrig O'Neill and Colm McNally are all coming from half-back position because that's the game plan. Means only this man is up front for most of the first half, Alan Smith. Emmett Bolton. Tommy Mullick is calling for it in the centre. Eamon Callaghan trying to get inside that cover. Tommy Mullick, whereas Kevin Moynihan in a little bit of space coming through the middle. Good play by the wing back, but he did a double hop there, fouled the possession. It's a free out for Kerry.
Again, similar to Cribben's one, there weren't options enough. He wasn't thinking quick enough. Double hop on a ball means you've looked for something, didn't happen, and you're gone on yourself.
Just to note, out of Kerry's 10 points, 9 have come from play. Just 1 from a free, as this ball is dropping in and dropping to the right and wide. So, Tom Carr, if you're Jason Ryan, what would you do now?
Well, I think that I would certainly put Niall Kelly on a full forward line with Alan Smith. I'd get the ball into them much more quicker. If he has a target man he can put on the edge of the square, he's going to have to try something like that as well, because as it stands, they're just going to filter out of this game. Kerry are going to stay 6-7 points ahead, have the odd shot here and there, come up with a goal, and Kildare will be ruining their opportunity of playing here in Croke Park in an All-Ireland quarter-final.
Paul Cribben did well to gather it, was fouled. Quick free for as Niall Kelly. Tommy Mullen trying to slip one through for as Eamon Callaghan. On his left shoulder is Paul Cribben. Onto his left boot. And that is going to be Hawkeye.
And I think that drifted wide, Marty. I would think from this position it looked like it drifted wide. I'm not sure if Paul Cribben is that confident about it. You'd know by his body language.
Dave Goldrick, the referee, has called for Hawkeye. So is Tom Carr right? Did it swing wide or is it over the bar? Here's the result. Outside the post. Ball is wide. At least
Again,
1 minute of time.
Yeah, sorry,
Marty.
Marty. Yeah, indicative of Paul Cribben's play. Just has been in and out of the game. Hasn't really got a foothold in general play. His shooting hasn't been good, and up to this in the year he's been exceptional for Kildare. They need him today. They need him for the rest of the game.
Mark O'Shea. Colm Cooper. Good ball for Stephen O'Brien. Mark O'Shea has continued into a forward position. Brian Sheehan. David Moran and Anthony Marr. Shane Enright was available to his left. Employed Brian Sheehan instead. Simple 1-2 with Anthony Marr, but they're doing it like it was in a training session. It's done very slow pace, but in total control. But they do lead by 7 points.
You see, Marty, they can afford to do that type of thing when they're leading by 7 points, and there's no threat to their 7 points, because any time it's reduced, they seem to be able to go up and just get the scores that's required to give them that cushion. Quite pedestrian, the game lacks a lot of intensity, and there's not much belief in the Kildare team that they're going to go out and make a serious effort of this game.
Well, it's been very much Kerry in the first half, with Kerry leading by 7 at the break, and there's always that potential for goal, because the Kerry forwards look very sharp. Kildare have a lot to do at half-time in Croke Park. It's Kerry 10 points.
Breaking ball. When the ball is breaking in the middle of the park, the team who's looking to win it will put in more bodies. By the law of mathematics, you will come up with the ball. You've got to commit your 2 half-backs. Your centre-back sits back in the hole. All your half-forward line have to be underneath that ball. And statistically, most of the breaking balls fall within 3 to 5 yards of where the players are contesting for the ball. So you've got to have bodies in there. And from there, then, they need to adjust what they've been doing so far. And that's getting ball into at least 2-3 forwards inside. Because if you've 1 forward inside, he can only make 2 or 3 runs. If you have 2 forwards inside, they're making 4 or 5 runs, and they're the options that you're getting for the player out the pitch in possession on the ball. And that's what, a lot of the time when Kildare are being robbed, it's because they're looking up for something inside which is not happening, and the second thing then is the ball coming off the shoulder which is not there.
Second half is underway, and already there's a free. It's going to be favouring Kildare. I'm just looking at the flags there while you were speaking, Tom, and it seems to be favouring Kildare in this second half at ground level. In front of the Hogan, it seems to be swirling in their favour. And the Cusick, it's always difficult sometimes on a day like today to judge it perfectly, but it would seem to favour Kildare in this second half. The goalkeeper, Mark Donlan, has come up. He scored twice against Cork, 145, 1 free. And to be fair to him, he has saved a penalty in this championship journey against Laois when he saved Ross Munnelly. And indeed, he made a superb save in this game in the first half. This is dropping right in. Easy ball though for David Moran. Donegal Walsh. Shane Enright. Tarbert. Aidan O'Mahony. Gillian Young. The man who certainly produced it in the first half. Stephen O'Brien. Back for Anthony Marr. Paul Gainey, just a little bit unfortunate that he lost his footing. But it's Colm Cooper taking 3 players with him, but this time intercepted. And Mick O'Grady picked up here by Carl McNally. Emmett Bolton. Ollie Lyons. And Bolton combining. Kildare would appear to have Niall Kelly at the edge of the square now. That's great combination football by Kildare, much better. Emmett Bolton laying it off. There's Alan Smith, and that is between the posts and over the bar. It's his second point, but way better out of Kildare.
Way better because they brought a bit of intensity to the tackling, and that's how, from behind at their own defence. They came up the pitch, they looked for something, and Emmett Bolton, and we haven't seen him this afternoon, and he's notified, and his characteristic is to be attacking and penetrating opposition defences. And when he does it, he creates an overlap, and Smith will score. He is a good kicker of a ball. Enough ball to Smith and Kelly, and they made trouble Kerry, but it's too early to say so. Kildare will get an opportunity in the next 5-10 minutes. It's now they've got to take it. If they're still 7 or 8 points behind after 15 minutes, they will not come close to winning this game.
Anthony Marr lays it back for his Jonathan Lyne, straight from the kick out. Aidan O'Mahony. Kevin Murnahan anticipated and read it well. Picked up by Emmett Bolton. Away goes Paul Cribben. Going for the score, and Cribben has it, the legs. Keeley has it under the crossbar. Mark O'Shea. Shane Enright. Going forward. Killian Young. Over for us, Mark O'Shea. Footballer of the Year back in 2007. Colm Cooper. David Moran being challenged by Tommy Mullick. Still Moran hitting this with conviction. Mark Donlan is there. It's a chance of a goal. Saved on the line. Not the first time, but the second time. It's in the net.
Oh dear, and that's the game, Marty. We thought it happened in the first half. That was coming all the time, but I don't know what Mark Donlan was thinking of, tapping the ball down in front of him. There was no returning backs. He didn't need to do it. That's always a goalkeeper's ball, coming out there like that, and then there's just mayhem in the square. That's his ball there. There's no way he should have done that. Well, a disappointment start to the second half for Kildare.
Despite the best efforts of Kieran Fitzpatrick on the goal line, it's the worst possible start for the Lily Whites to this second half. Paul Cribben. Owen O'Flaherty feeding Pádraig O'Neill. Mick O'Grady. There's Emmett Bolton. Ball into space. It's aimed at Alan Smith. Alan Smith again. Pádraig O'Neill. Oh, he hit it well.
And all they can hope to do is just keep tipping at the scoreboard all the time, but I just have the fear that we're not even going to get a look at the real Kerry team this afternoon, because they're not going to have to get out of second or third gear. Kildare will certainly need goals to even get back in this game, and the way they're playing at the minute, no more than the first half, it's not going to happen the way they're set up.
Monica Walsh tapping it in the second time. Simple goal for Kerry. Carl McNally going back to gather. Ollie Lyons. Over first, Kieran Fitzpatrick. Owen Doyle. Pádraig O'Neill laying it off. Carl McNally. There's Owen O'Flaherty. Kerry under no great pressure. It's a slow pace again from Kildare. Then the long ball is given away. Shane Enright. There's Brian Sheehan. There goes Aidan O'Mahony. Going for the score. And that is wide. And He's a man who's well capable of scoring. In his career to date, he's managed 11 points.
Yeah, he's certainly very comfortable coming forward, but he doesn't need to, on this occasion, he doesn't need to be accurate coming forward. But even we were mentioning about Kildare with their one man on the forward line, Alan Smith, he's even playing about 60-70 yards from goal. Anytime we look down on the pitch when the ball is on our left-hand side, which is the Kildare defence, there are 5 Kerry players around 1 Kildare player up front. That's not enough. The difficulty with Kildare coming out of defence, they're all in one line. They're like a rugby line coming out, so there's no penetration once they give that pass. It's purely given it from one player to the other.
So just to confirm, Darren O'Sullivan on for Paul Ganey. Ona Flaherty here. Where's Tommy Mulick? Emmett Bolton available. Ona Flaherty continued his run. That's a good ball into space for Owen Doyle. Makes a little bit of room for himself. Willick Pearl. That is a fabulous kick by the centre half back.
Yeah, great score by Owen, and he found himself in a position far forward, and they can all throw caution to the wind now and get forward for those opportunities.
Kildare are introducing Peter Kelly. The player that's going off is Eamon Callaghan. Former All-Star Peter Kelly, back in 2010, All-Star cornerback.
And maybe this is the change we were muting for earlier on, that they go with a bit much more offensive play because the game is gone from them now.
Well won by Owen Doyle. Scored from this position a moment ago, gives it to Alan Smith. That one, I'm afraid, is a bit wayward, to say the least.
A little bit hopeful there by Alan Smith. Could have taken a little bit more with it. Need a bit more composure in those situations. Even if Kildare could just get 2 or 3 points and put a little bit of pressure on Kerry. Just not looking like they're going to the game, gone quite pedestrian.
Well, the Dublin footballers are here. Bernard Brogan and Kevin McMenamin and Kieran Kilkenny. A little snapshot of Bernard's brother Alan there as well. They, of course, will be live in the Sunday game shortly at 4 o'clock when they take on Fermanagh. So Kerry going to the attack. Here's a chance. It's a great run. At the end is Colin Cooper! Darren O'Sullivan and Colin Gooch Cooper. Welcome to the Championship 2015, Gooch. He has arrived.
Again, it's not the intensity that's catching him out. It's the cuteness, it's the football, it's the natural ability just to see opportunities, cut inside and give the right pass at the right time and execute brilliantly.
Great run by Darren O'Sullivan. Little tap in by the Gooch. That scoreboard looks far more intimidating now from a Kildare perspective. Ona Flaherty fouled.
Yeah, I think you'll find now that Eamon Fitzmaurice will make substitutions, give guys runs. Jason Ryan probably do the same thing, give him a taste of Croke Park against a big team.
Kevin Moynihan. Paul Cribben. Emmett Bolton. Cribben has gone forward again. Here's Ollie Lyons. Ball inside for Niall Calais. Left or right footed. He's dangerous but takes a little bit too much out of it. Just don't get enough time when you're playing the top teams. When you're playing the Kerrys and the Dublins and Mayos, you've got to be thinking fast.
You've got to get that ball in your hands and get it out so quick, keep it on the move at speed.
David Bourne over towards Darren O'Sullivan again. Darren O'Sullivan's speed and intensity is posing problems for Kildare.
Also, he's running, Marty. He's over since he came on. He's been over and back. He's had 3 or 4 possessions. He's been on the ball. He's been a nuisance, a thorn in the Kildare defence right since he's came on. And just the options that Kerry have on that bench is absolutely massive.
Paul Cribben did well to get into position, and here comes the block down. Brilliant. And Kerry go into counter-attack mode again. Stephen O'Brien. Here's it back for his Jonathan Lyne, who had the initial block down. Up fires Colin Cooper. There's Darren O'Sullivan, the compliment is returned. Yes! It's the O'Sullivan-Cooper show in Croke Park. First it was O'Sullivan to Cooper, now it's Cooper to O'Sullivan. Brilliant.
Well, you could say the terrible twins, Marty, certainly operating on the 45 and in. They just know where each other are going, they know where the passes are, they don't have to look for each other. And the execution, there's many teams get into those situations but they can't execute, but the two guys who got on the end of those balls know better executors than any in the game.
Serious worrying times for this man.
And it certainly poses major questions over Cork if Kildare can beat Cork a week or two ago and then come out and be absolutely hammered by Kerry.
More questions being posed by the Championship 2015, Tom. Here's Mark O'Shea. Lobbing this one in. First Colm Cooper. Just hopped off his chest. Here comes Colm McNally. Torrig O'Neill into the middle. Peter Kelly. Ono Flaherty. Peter Kelly gone forward. This lad is a good footballer, gives it in, but easily won. Superbly won by Shane Enright.
Yeah, easy to do so with a ball like that. I mean, a kick pass going 7 or 8 yards. That's not what you learned as a footballer.
Colm Cooper looking for the ball again from Anthony Marr. Lovely little turn. Look at the vision. Look at the pass. In for his Donica Walsh. He gets inside the challenge. There's more trouble for Kildare. This time it's Barry John Keane at the end of it.
And just watch the way he takes it. Absolutely super little bit of soccer there. He looked up, but what a great ball. Gave it inside the man and he just picked his spot and put it right underneath the keeper. But great play by Walsh as well to receive it. Looks up, gives it inside at the right position. Yeah, what a great score.
Beautiful, beautiful finish by Barry John Keane.
And Marty, we cannot get carried away about Kerry in this performance. We know they're brilliant, we know they're good, we know they can execute all the skills of the game at the very top level, but Kildare have been very, very poor, very miserable in their effort, poor in their intensity, lack of belief totally from the beginning. Just they brought nothing from that Cork win.
And strategically got it wrong as well, in the sense of just playing one man up front, particularly in the first half.
And haven't adjusted since.
Emmett Bolton, that fires Ollie Lines. Ono Flaherty. Killian Young putting in the challenge. Peter Kelly again, floating one up for Alan Smith, who continues to work hard. Shane Enright is with him. Nice ball inside for Colm McNally. Another player with pretty tiring work rate. As that ball just is outside the post.
And if you watch that little cameo play, I don't know if we can get it again or not, but the ball through, you had two Kerry defenders chasing Kelly and Smith every time that ball went in there. Compare that to Darren O'Sullivan and the Gooch Cooper, who were left on their own cutting inside the cover. And that is what good defending is about. It's tracking your man right to the end of the run.
Change in the Kildare lineup. Fergal Conway is coming on for Kevin Murnahan. Shane Enright. There's Paul Murphy. Killian Young. There's Paul Murphy again. Aidan O'Mahony getting on the ball by going forward as much as possible, but his pass is not a great one. There's no great danger as Paul Murphy is there. Here's Anthony Marr, floating one in again. Turns their Gooch, beautiful! Oh my word! This is exhibition. Colm Gooch Cooper, his captain, applauds him. The crowd at Croke Park, some of them are standing up and applauding. This is a thing of beauty.
Well, watch it, because that's exactly what Donaghy would do. That's why he's applauding, and he's looking at himself out there. And I was about to mention, when the last ball hopped off Cooper's chest when he got another ball inside, is that we talk about the tactic of Kerry not being what it is with Donaghy there, but we have seen that man rise for many a ball and on the edge of a square and sticking in the back of the net.
Colm Cooper scoring goals in the 44th and the 51st minute. On Doyle. Back for Arizona O'Flaherty. Paul Cribben. Brendan Keeling. Safe hands. Fouled by Tommy Mulick. And it's a long ball up for Brian Sheehan. Ball into space for Donegal Walsh. Mick O'Grady with him. Impressive work rate from Barry John Keane. Darren O'Sullivan just slipped Emmett Bolton. By the way, a staggering statistic that we have here. Out of 5 goals and 11 points for Kerry, 5-10 from play.
Yeah, it's easy for them though, Marty. They're ready to do anything on the ball. They've loads of time. Training would be more difficult.
Jonathan Lyne. Peter Crowley gets a touch. David Moore challenged by his opposite, number 9, Paul Cribben, and it's a free in.
Yeah, it looked like he was getting the advantage and was nearly gone inside his man, but it's all academic at this stage. And yeah, very poor performance by Kildare. Really, after the first 5 or 10 minutes, and they did come out with a buzz and an intensity, but after that it was all downhill.
Well, the Kerry boys are warming up. You saw Paul Galvin. And beside him, indeed, is Johnny Buckley. So Paul Galvin is it.
Kerry favourite has trooped onto that pitch many times over the last 10 or 12 years.
Footballer of the Year, of course, back in 2009. He'll be 36 in November. He's 4 All-Ireland medals in his back pocket already.
And as we thought, Kerry can afford to do this. Just get guys on the pitch, give them game time, keep them happy, keep them satisfied. And Johnny Buckley, who probably would feel that he was a little bit unfortunate not to be on the starting 15, as players always do, even though it was for a reason. Now he's getting his opportunity, and a fight for places begins on the Kerry team.
Brian Sheehan is the player that makes way, by the way, for Johnny Buckley. So Torrick Fogarty on for Niall Kelly for Kildare. As Colm Cooper takes this free. Puts it between the butts.
And we wouldn't expect any less from Colm Cooper.
Just so that you know, unfortunately, from a Kildare perspective, when they faced Dublin here in the Leinster Championship semi-final, they conceded 5-18. At the moment, it's 5-12. They did score 14 points against Dublin that day.
And speak of that team, I thought we were getting a good game today, Marty.
Shows you about sport, you just never know, Tom. Here's Paul Cribben. Ono Flaherty. Dropping this end, Brendan Keeley. Deals with it eventually. Aidan O'Mahony was always there in support anyway. Peter Crowley. Fires Killian Young. And Paul Murphy. Had some season last year, scored a goal and a point against Clare, and a young lad who never played minor for Kerry. He stood rather well. Ball in for Mark Donlan. Emmett Bolton is there. Even in a straight race. 50-50 ball, Kerry win it. Johnny Buckley gets his hands on the ball. Over fires the star of the first half. 3 in the first, 1 in the second. He's going for a goal! It's Stephen O'Brien. Wow, what a performance. In only his 8th championship appearance, the 24-year-old has been awesome at times. Stephen O'Brien.
Look at the pass it came from, though. Another low crossfield ball, as we mentioned at the very outset of the game. Very predictable the way Kerry had set up. But once you do that, there's more to do once he receives the ball and does it so well. But pace, speed, and I'm sure the viewers out there think that half the Kildare team have been taken off at the minute, and Kerry are playing with 6 or 7 man advantage because they just can do what they want with the ball all over the field.
Johnny Buckley, judged to have been fouling the possession. Ball drops in. Torrick Fogarty is there. Immediately is pulled down and a free in for Kildare.
And Kerry not even wanted to concede a goal because he certainly wasn't getting away, and that's how ruthless they can be. But Kerry on a massive scoreline, Marty, without really getting into putting a sweat on the brow whatsoever. It's just been so easy for them after the first 10 minutes, so easy.
Player down injured is Aidan O'Mahony from Rathmore, getting some medical attention. You might recall he was man of the match in the All-Ireland final back in 2006 when he played wing-back. His own O'Flaherty taps that over the bar.
And we keep mentioning how Dublin haven't got a game and they're going to be in an All-Ireland, possibly in an All-Ireland semi-final without getting a game. Can we say the same about Kerry? Because you can't compare Cork, or you couldn't say that Cork have given Kerry a game. I'd say it was more that Kerry just weren't ready for that game, but certainly they haven't had a tough test.
Cork people might argue that they should have won that Munster final drawn match, Tom, to be fair.
Well, but for a refereeing decision, quite possibly, but you got to take what comes after that.
Fantastic play by Colm Gooch Cooper. Johnny Buckley is throwing himself around the place, getting on a lot of balls since introduced. David Bourne. Killian Young. Over fires Paul Murphy. Paul Galvin. Paul Murphy. He surprisingly gives it away on this occasion. He was aiming for Jonathan Lyne. Paul Criven coming through. Going nowhere, I'm afraid, as Kerry cut out the danger immediately. Darren O'Sullivan gives it down for Stephen O'Brien, then goes, hoping to get the return. O'Brien a little jink left and right. He gets the return from Killian Young. Great play, Barry John Keane, and that's over the bar.
And Barry John Keane could have found Johnny Buckley coming through there as well, but I think they're just happy to get their scores. They all players like to have a few ticks behind their name when they leave Croke Park. And the gulf we keep talking about in Gaelic football getting wider by the year, it's actually getting wider by the game at this stage, because the glaring inadequacies of the haves and the have-nots are becoming quite evident, very evident.
Here's Tommy Walsh, who's returned from Australia. Is now complete when he's introduced, and he has come on for Anthony Marr in the middle of the field.
And Anthony Marr has had an absolutely fine game, and you know, if it was ever in the melting pot in the first half, or if it was ever going to be close, Anthony Marr was exceptional around the middle of the park, as was David Bourne.
David Bourne. Himself and Anthony Marr are a very strong centre field combination. They have been powerful. Paul Murphy sending it in low, but Peter Kelly anticipated, read it well. Gets the return. Ollie Lyons now. Owen O'Flaherty. Paul Criven is calling for it in front of the Hogan. Should mean quite a long ball. Good work here by Torrick Fogarty. And eventually it's Ollie Lyons that kicks it over the bar. Well, cornerback that has scored against Laois in the replay, against Cork last weekend in the qualifier. And again, in this quarter-final, it's the cornerback that's doing the scoring.
And you can even look at the spread of scorers. Kerry have a huge spread of scorers, all so capable. Kildare not so much. And certainly an abrupt end to the championship for Kildare. And even over the last few performances, Kildare have saved Jason Ryan's neck. I'm not sure if he thanked him for it now with a performance like that.
Film Downing is on Tom for Tommy Mulick, which says an awful lot really, because Paul Cribben and Tommy Mulick, their performance was so crucial to Kildare's prospects.
And Kildare were looking to the pair of them to set up some kind of platform.
Ball inside from Paul Galvin to Johnny Buckley. Barry John Keane just took off with the Rockets on his heels and scores another point.
And talk about good runs and bad runs. Watch where Barry John Keane comes in from. Most players run from the inside out to the wings to get the ball, but most of the good teams, good players, cut from outside to inside.
Owen Doyle. Emmett Bolton. Ollie Lyons and Owen Doyle all gone forward. And to create an opportunity of a score. Pádraig O'Neill is at the end of it, and it just sneaks inside the post and over the bar.
And a good score by Pádraig. Another man with 2 ticks behind his name. Not much else from Croke Park today for Kildare or their supporters, and they are great supporters, but did they ever get a chance to get into this game? I think they got going after about 10 or 15 minutes when it looked like Kildare were going to mount a challenge. After that has been exceptionally muted.
Kick out from Brendan Keeling. Great catch, Tommy Walsh. Shows you the talent that's in this Kerry squad. And you have Tommy Walsh, Paul Galvin, Darren O'Sullivan. Ball inside, Faraz Galvin at the end of it, not quite. Kieran Fitzpatrick. But the vision again of Colin Gooch Cooper. Not only is he a scoring forward, but he's such an intelligent player.
Well, everything he does is brilliant. It was just not quite brilliant. It was great, but just not quite brilliant. What a ball. He's able to do it so quick, so effortlessly.
Pádraig Fogarty trying to get away from Aidan O'Mahony. Owen Doyle seeking his second point of the match, but failing to do so.
Well, aren't they an amazing team, really, Marty, Kerry? They're one of these teams who don't necessarily seem to have to produce. Look at this for fielding. Isn't that just pure class? I mean, to keep your eye on the ball the whole time. Most players close their eyes when they're going up for those balls. He just watched it the whole way.
His dad, Sean, would be so proud of that.
Oh, they'd love that. They'd love that. They'd play that all night. But a team, they're just able to do it at senior level, not having to have to do it at minor level. Look at that.
And he's done it again.
Yeah, but they can do it. So many of them can do it. So comfortable. Brilliant stuff. Lovely to watch.
So now you're talking about Anthony Marr, David Moore, Tommy Walsh, all in line for midfield positions as the journey continues for Kerry.
And they could bring Kieran Donaghy out there as well if they had to.
Yeah, pretty intimidating, I have to say, Tom, if you happen to be from the rest of the counties left in the championship. Paul Cribben, Farazone O'Flaherty. Ends up with Fionn Dowling. And that is over the bar. Good score. And really, this game is well and truly over. Masterclass in scoring by Kerry in this opening, in this second 35-minute period. Look at Tommy Walsh. That's twice in a row he did this.
Yeah, and those players now, Marty, are playing for places. They're out there and they're saying, look at me, I'm good, but we know they're good. And they're just the competition for places must be massive, something similar to Dublin.
Paul Galvin. Johnny Buckley. Paul Galvin on the overlap, looking to see who he could find. Guess who he found. Here is the coach, and he kindly put it over the bar.
Very unlike him to be sympathetic. Very merciful of him, because there certainly was an opportunity there. I think Darren O'Sullivan was on his left. He could have flicked it off to him. Look how he looks up and takes that score. He can just do anything on a ball. It's as if he doesn't have it in his hands at all. He's free running. And
remember, Tom, he's going for a hat-trick, so he was totally unselfish by tapping that over the bar. But it was a point indeed that Joe Brawley made in the Sunday game last week or the week before about players having the time to look left, look right. Valid point.
Well, that's when you know how comfortable a player is on the ball, when he's able to look up, when he doesn't have to watch the ball as he's soloing it.
Here's Alan Smith. bit of a rush, kicks it wide, but I have to say I'm a fan of Alan Smith. He never ever gives up. As Gary White is on for Kildare, and going off is Emmett Bolton.
Yeah, I mean, Alan Smith, in fairness to him, he's been trying his heart out all afternoon, and you're right, he doesn't give up and hasn't given up. He's been the lone shooter up front for Kildare, and I'm not sure why they didn't try something a little bit different.
Round of applause for Emmett Bolton. Just Kerry's 6 goals this afternoon were scored in 18 minutes between the 38th and 56th minute of the match. It was a pretty much a demolition job. And this match isn't over yet. Barry John Keane shows an eagerness, a determination to add to his personal tally. He's another one of this Kerry squad that have really performed so well.
Well, he's actually been brilliant since he came on. I know it's easy to be brilliant in this company, but he's been exceptional more than Darren O'Sullivan. And the options they have up front are huge, and they're certainly my team for the All-Ireland title this year.
Gary White getting on the ball. Up first, Pádraig O'Neill. Out over the sideline. Line ball for Kerry.
The other aspect of this too, Marty, is that Kerry haven't even had to bring a level of intensity to the game. So imagine if they can bring a level of intensity with the sublime skills that they bring to the game, how effective and good they can be.
Paul Murphy, Jonathan Lyne, Stephen O'Brien, Paul Galvin. Kildare should have this under control. Pádraig O'Neill. Ollie Lines. Out fires Pádraig O'Neill. Remember, Kildare, Tom, were relegated to Division 3, but after getting that hammering from Dublin, they've had a good journey up to today, but this will put them back again. Such a bit of a beating. It's a hammering of 24 points as it presently stands.
I'm not sure what the biggest winning margin has been this year, but it's certainly up there. I'm sure Mayo and Sligo is something similar, but it's alarming, Marty, the difference between the top teams and the rest. It's serious concern for the GA and serious concern for these teams who give it everything, do the same amount of training, same commitment, but just certainly don't have the belief.
Free for Kerry. .24 points. Just going through the record books, we think 27 points was the biggest winning
Dublin
margin.
And Longford.
Dublin and Longford, yeah. Tom, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's got so pedestrian out there. It's Kerry won't need to even have to do a warm down.
Stephen O'Brien. There's Darren O'Sullivan. Colin Cooper is outnumbered, but the ball breaks and it's in the back of the net. Dear oh dear. It's a nightmare for Kildare. It's breathtaking for Kerry. And we now have two teams that are on the highest winning margins. Look at the side foot. It is absolutely beautiful here.
But watch all their goals, Marty. Watch all their goals. They all have been placed into the back of the net. None of them have been rammed. That's the beauty of it, the skill of it. All those players have that skill.
Darren O'Sullivan kicking the ball into the net. Beautiful. Aidan O'Mahony.
Sorry, Marty, usually as a manager you're hoping that there's more left on the clock, but Jason Ryan for about the last 20 minutes has hoping the referee will blow it up, and he has.
Well, it's all over for Kildare, but for Kerry the journey continues. What a performance in the second half, with Colm Gooch Cooper returning to championship fare. we were treated to an awesome display by the All-Ireland champions, scoring 7 goals. Goals by Donncha Walsh, Colm Cooper not once but twice, Darren O'Sullivan, Barry John Keane, Stephen O'Brien, and of course Donncha Walsh Darren O'Sullivan at the very end. Well, certainly it's sending out a clear signal. The All-Ireland champions are determined to hold on to Sam Maguire. What a performance. Where Kildare go from here? Well, it's back to Division 3 football next season. They've really fought back after getting hammered by Dublin, but they go home this evening utterly deflated. Full-time score in Croke Park. Kerry are through to the All-Ireland semi-finals on this scoreline. Kerry 7 goals, 16 points. Kildare 10 points.